This is the story of one college student's journey of self-discovery.
I didn't love high school. I heard if you don't love high school, then you'll love college. So I was excited to go. I got accepted to Chico State up north, so it was going to be very away from home.
I opened up the mail. Well, I didn't tell her I opened up the mail, but I did. And she said, do you have something to tell me? And I said, you were accepted. It doesn't sound like much to people who are looking on, but it was like huge. We just were so happy.
Both of my parents had graduated from there, so I was very familiar with the area. I had been there all through my life. Every summer I had visited, and also my grandparents lived there.
Her dad was really proud because, of course, it's his alma mater, so he'd always want her to go there. And I think she felt good making him proud and showing him that she had potential and that she could do things that she set her mind to.
I met Jillian right before she went for freshman year at Chico. So that was right when she graduated high school. She was going there, and being a freshman and moving away, it's a hard thing to do because you're meeting new friends, you're meeting new people, you're trying to make a life there. And like at the beginning, the first semester especially, it's not, it doesn't come that easy.
I was very excited to be a freshman. I moved into the dorms. My freshman year was good up into the point probably a month in because everyone repeatedly every single weekend wanted to party, and I saw a lot of drinking, a lot of drugs, and just something that I wasn't used to, a lifestyle that I wasn't used to. And I remember being on the phone with my dad probably a month in and being like, I don't know if I can do this for 4 years. Like, I'm not sure that this is the school for me. But I knew that I had to stick it out because I wasn't going to give up that soon.
I thought her first year was going normally, about as how I'd expected it to be. She had some friends that she got along with and some that she didn't get along with.
Jillian confided in me that she was not very happy at Chico. And it wasn't because she didn't meet nice people there. She did meet nice people there, and she had friends there. But the type of person that she was telling me that she would have to be to kind of be in this environment, she didn't really like.
I almost made myself conform to what everyone else was doing just because I didn't want to be the only one that was, not going out and partying and staying home like by myself in my dorm room, which happened a lot. But then when I realized at the end of the year, I don't want to do this anymore. This isn't the life for me. I told my parents that. I expressed that to them. And they kind of just like, stick it out, Jillian. But in a way, I didn't want to tell anyone what was going on and how I didn't like college. Because I came home from breaks and everyone was like, how do you like college? Everyone would say that to their friends. And I love it. I love school. It's so great. And I didn't want to be the one being like, I hate it. I hate this lifestyle. I'm not enjoying it at all. So I kind of hid that from everyone.
What Jillian was going through at that time was that she didn't really have many people to talk to about any kind of negative feelings that she had about Chico or the environment she was in.
I did confide in Dylan at the time. I also confided in my friend Emily. She knew me since I was 4 years old.
I know Jillian better than she knows herself, and I've known that she's always been a person who does things her own way. They might not be the traditional way, and things like going to the traditional school and having that Greek life thing and partying and school pride and doing that was never something that she was into, and it just didn't fit her personality, and I think she couldn't find a place to be herself in Chico.
So I came home after my first year. I had summer. I planned to get an apartment back up at Chico State with 2 of my really good friends that I had made, and I moved up there. I moved all my stuff into my apartment.
I got all the furniture from IKEA that she bought and assembled it all there. And it was quite a lot of work. And after a really long day, I ended up getting in my car and make the 600-mile drive home.
And then I realized, what am I doing? Like, I hated this for a year. I know I have so much pressure to make it work, but I cannot do this to myself for another year.
Well, at about 4:30 in the morning, she called me and said, I don't want to be here anymore. I want to go home. And I just didn't know what to say. I had just been assembling the furniture. We had paid rent. We had done the contracts. It was a really disappointing moment for me.
It was something that I had never done in my life before. It was something that, I mean, you have everyone saying that you should do one thing, and for you to completely go against everyone just for yourself, it was the most selfish thing I think I've ever done. So that was like a really hard place for me to be like, this is okay though. It's okay to be selfish right now because you're so unhappy with where you are at school.
I think she just kind of cracked, and she had been reserved about the whole thing for a long time. Part of it was she was probably carried away in my momentum to send her to Chico.
So I packed up all my stuff and I left to go home. And needless to say, my parents were not thrilled, for months, really. And everyone was just in shock. Like, how could you be doing this? Because I didn't tell anyone what was going on.
When she decided to make the decision to leave and to come back to community college, I think it was something that she did completely for herself. And it was something that she just knew was the right decision. And even though it wasn't that great college experience that she had always hoped for, it was important because she realized what she didn't want and what she wasn't interested in and the direction that she did want to go.
It took a lot for me to be okay once I got home because my parents were not supportive at all. So that was a really hard time, but they eventually knew that this was the right choice for me because I was already happier as a person, even just going to junior college. And I was determined to be motivated enough to go and transfer. So it ended up being okay after a couple months of being home. While I was at El Camino, I was trying to apply to the business school at Long Beach State, and I had an emphasis in marketing. And I had gone to my counselor at El Camino, and I had said, I want to get into Long Beach State. How long will it take me? Do I have the GPA? And she said, according to your GPA, you're a shoo-in. Don't even worry about it. Of course you'll make the cut. But this was before the budget cuts. So once I actually turned in my transcripts to Long Beach State, I was put onto a waiting list, and I didn't get into Long Beach. I decided that I didn't want to waste another semester, so I visited a friend in New York who had been living out there for a little bit, and she suggested, why don't you get an internship out in New York? Live with me, it'll be a great experience, and you can do one of your classes online. So I proceeded to apply to about 50 different magazine companies and online and sent my resume to several places. I got an interview with a few places, but I ended up getting a job at 17 Magazine as a fashion intern.
When she decided to move to New York City, I really pushed her to do it. And not in a bad way, just I really wanted her to get out of the bubble of Redondo Beach. Doing an internship at a magazine that's well known, I just thought it was such an amazing opportunity that I pushed really hard for her to do it.
I was not that happy about New York because I don't really like New York too much. I'm a beach person, and I was afraid that she was going to leave and not come back.
It was an incredible experience because I wasn't being taught how to survive in the business world. I was taught how to survive in the social world on my own. I lived with 2 of my roommates. I worked 5 days a week, 9 to sometimes 12 at night. I was just working really hard, but it was a fun job. It was something that I was like, this is the career that I want to get into, something that I love doing.
She had a pretty good relationship with her boss and met the people in New York in the fashion industry, got herself to work every day in the snow and sleet, lived on a pretty small budget. So she was very independent.
So at that time, I really grew as a person. I knew how to get around New York City. I knew how to go to all the best restaurants and socialize and network. This was like a whole new experience for me, and I really felt more mature and more independent. While in New York City, I applied for the second time to Long Beach State. And just as a backup, I applied to Fullerton State, just in case I didn't get into Long Beach. And then again, I was not accepted to Long Beach State. And they told me that within the business program, I was .1 away in my GPA from making the cut for the business marketing program at Long Beach State. I was devastated. I had been told by my counselors and so many people, you're a shoo-in, and to just be rejected for the second time now, I was just devastated. I didn't know what to do.
Jillian called me when she got the letter from Long Beach that she hadn't been accepted, and I could tell it was really crushing because not only had she built up so much confidence in herself, but we all were very confident that she would have been able to achieve this. I felt really bad for her because I could tell that it was almost as if what she'd been working for was kind of crushed.
Long Beach State was one of her dreams for a long time, but the reality of it was she couldn't go there.
I remember talking to her and saying that, you have to look at this like you've looked at everything else. So I think it just took her a little time to step back and see that as much as it hurt and as much as it was crushing to not get accepted, that she is going to go to a different school and that it's going to be okay.
Luckily, I had applied to Fullerton, and I got in there, and I got into their business program. So I moved home after my internship ended.
When she came home, she wanted to be more independent. We have a big house, but we were sort of fighting over territory. It was a bit of a territory fight. She wanted to paint her room. She wanted to redecorate her room. So it was kind of her space. And I said, well, this is my house, and you're going to have to do things my way. And she wasn't really seeing it that way to begin with. She wanted to change the way the house was when she came back. And I thought that was interesting.
As much as I've been shifted around and there's been so many disappointments and it's been a roller coaster ride, really, I think it's shaped me as who the person I am today. There definitely could have been more help along the lines of guidance counselors. It was definitely, if you had an appointment with a counselor, you had to make it. You had to go find out where their office was. You had to go find out where those help programs were for your majors. I think that it would be best for students in the position like me to be able to be aware and not have to do as much on their own, because a lot of students like me don't know the availability of these services.
I think that counseling should always incorporate alternative plans and get the students to accept alternative plans, accept the fact that they may need to use those alternative plans. So if a bad situation happens, they will be in a good position. They've already thought about it. They will be able to roll through their alternative plans.
As I look back at the past 4 years of my college experience, I don't regret anything that I've done. Being able to move to New York City, I wouldn't have been able to do that if I wasn't accepted to Long Beach. I just think it was a great experience for me personally, and it made me grow as a person, and I don't think school can teach you that. I think that's an experience that you have to do on your own.
Well, Jillian has absolutely changed. She's good at enduring things that are unpleasant. Before, she would just break down and cry, and she couldn't deal with adversity. Now, through everything she's been through, she has the ability to persevere, and she has the confidence in herself that she can persevere and get through most anything. She has a tool set now that she can use in life, in any situation, in job, in education, to be successful.
All these ups and downs and all these decisions that Jillian has made, has prepared her for the real world. It's prepared her for the situations that you're naturally going to be thrown into. She has stayed true to herself. I love her for who she is today, and I think it's great.
I feel like I've changed drastically as a person. I really feel like I am a new person since my freshman year at Chico State. I know who I am. I know who I want to be. I have confidence in who I am, and I really feel like I can do anything that I put my mind to in the end of the day. As of now, I'm going to Fullerton. I have 1 year left, and I'm really enjoying the experience of getting closer to my goal, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, finally. I'm excited to get into this field and really understand what kind of business I'm going into and just the whole aspect of the marketing field. I'm really excited about it, so hopefully I'll be able to get into that field soon. As this chapter is closing, I know that the next chapter is just beginning, and I'm really excited about it because I get to move out of my parents' house, I get to find a career of my own, and I really get to start my life. I've been working so hard for this, and I'm really excited to find a future career in marketing.